Hello, everybody. My name is Ashley Hernandez. I'm a psychology major from Dallas, Texas, and today I will be talking about a biofuel. The biofuel I have chosen to speak about today is ethanol. How we can describe the biological source and grown cultivated. Ethanol can be made of many plant materials. This is known as biomass. It is a mixture of plant and algae materials, for example, food waste, crop waste, forest residues, and many others. How is ethanol produced? For ethanol to be ethanol, it needs to go through the process of fermentation. But to put it in general terms, for in the US it has been produced from starch-based crops and then it goes through a process of dry and wet mill or wet mill. Fermentation happens in the dry milling process of the production of ethanol that grinds the corn into flour, which then ferments it into ethanol with co-products of distillers, grains, and CO2. The status of development of ethanol has been researched by the Economic Research Services, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and they have put out a research paper named The Global Demand for Fuel Ethanol through 2023. That is meant to say 2030, but I will fix that. By Stephen Ramsey, Brian Williams, Philip Jarrell, and Todd Hubbs. They stated that since COVID-19, more people have started using less cars that use gas and more electric cars. The U.S. Department of Energy's Energy Information Administration made a projection to 2030 that told them that motor gasoline consumption is expected to decrease about 2.5 billion gallons and then increase by 7.2 billion gallons. The carbon footprint. The U.S. government has considered that ethanol has shown to have lower negative effects on the environment when compared to fossil fuels. Fossil fuels have been on the earth for many, many years, and it is toxic to our lungs and it's toxic to the air that we obviously breathe in. Ethanol is primarily made from the renewable resources like food compared to fossil fuels that are more older resources. We are talking about million years ago. And this is the this is the ethanol production that has been through 5 states and others combined. So this has shown from 1981 to 2021, my bad. So for economic, I couldn't find the exact number on how this would affect the economy, but we are sure that with ethanol productions, this will create jobs that will soon have the need for jobs opportunities for people. It will be seen that in 2022 there was a 79,000 jobs across the country where there was a 57 billion gross domestic product and then 34.8 billion in household incomes. So the only thing I could find the communication to the public is this article, but there wasn't much coverage to it. Like, this is my first time that I found out that ethanol was being used to make a car function. So this was really interesting to me that I didn't find much like word being put out to the public. My analysis. From what I have read, seems that the government has been pushing this for us to use biofuels to reduce gas emissions. This affects us on a daily basis. Only negative effects from this is that if we decide to go through this process, there will be so many forests affected in order to grow corn and co-products to help us achieve this. My action plan. With funding not being a problem, we can test out land that can still be fertile enough to harvest the corn crops. We can find these lands near cities or farms which consume the most. It will be easier to access for farmers and families won't have to pay the increase in price for corn. And these are my citations from where I got my information.